I think we have an interesting test on our hand. It's somebody that we were talking about here just 1 second ago, but the Starboy, 125 pounds. This flyweight division is a very interesting one, my man. And the reason why is because oftentimes you have people where you don't necessarily know exactly who they are in terms of the cusp, right? That 14, 15, 16, 17, right? You got some people who you're like, I haven't really heard too much of the man. One person in particular who is number 14 in the UFC's consensus rankings is Tagir Ulanbekov, right? If you're not a hardcore fan, if you're not somebody who really watches the sport, you're probably not too familiar with the man. But he does occupy one of the spots right there on the cusp that could be occupied by some other people depending on who you are and how you view the sport. Now, my question here is, with this very definitive first-round knockout win against Zhalgas Zhumagulov, we just said Manel Kape needed to do something spectacular, definitive. He did it. He did that back-to-back. In the last fight, okay, we could take a step back, excuse me, against Ode Osborne because the man missed weight, right? It wasn't professional. First time in his professional career missing weight, but he comes back-to-back KOs. AJ, I have Manel Kape ranked number 14 in my rankings. You have him 15 in your rankings, and the UFC does not have him ranked at all. I've been saying from day one, I mean, you come in, you're fighting as a potential backup for a title for the flyweight division or whatnot. The man needs to be ranked. So let me ask you, with this win against Zhalgas Zhumagulov, who is not a ranked fighter himself, what type of push or bump or trajectory should Manel Kape have with the outcome of this fight? Should he be in that 13 to 15, or do you think he's a top 10 fighter?
I think at the moment he stays about 13 to 15, man. He stays right in that little, don't get me wrong, Zhumagulov is an amazing fighter, but he's just not that same caliber of that top 10 ranking. So we're able to see that get it going. Now, next fight, let's say he fights somebody like Julian Paiva, Mateus Nicolau, gets that one. I'm pretty sure gets that one back. Then we start to really see how that goes. Manel Kape looked amazing with the pressure. The hands were crisp. Even, the takedowns, everything was going right for Manel Kape. Just, I don't really see him at that top 10 level yet. I mean, he's there, don't get me wrong, but just facing that caliber opponent, I think it's a big difference of how he's able to show up perform on game day. And if he's able to keep this win streak going, then I can see top 10, no problem. But right now, I still have him about that 13 to 15 level. What about you, Derek?
Well, I have a question for you, my man, because I do think that, excuse me, for folks, for my voice cracking over here, but I do honestly believe that Manel Kape has top 10 talent right now currently. So let me ask you this. Brandon Royval, right? Very fun fighter. He's very fast moving, scrambles, all that craziness. Does he win against Manel Kape?
Yeah, I think Royval wins that one.
Really? Okay, interesting. How about Matt Schnell? Dangerous Matt Schnell. Do you think that Manel Kape would drop that one as well?
So that Matt Schnell, Rogerio Bontorin, those are the two that I'm thinking that he has a little bit better chance against, just style-wise. Mm-hmm. Closer fight, I don't know. That one I'm giving to Schnell just off of I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. How about Tim Elliott?
Tim Elliott, man, he's dangerous. He's dangerous. Yeah. I think Manel Kape could get that one done. He's got the hand speed for it.
Okay, so that's what's interesting, right? Is because I'm going to dispute a little bit. I don't necessarily think that Matt Schnell. I think that Manel Kape could get past Matt Schnell. I think he can get past Brandon Royval, honestly, right now. When he's on, Manel Kape is on. And I don't want to make excuses for the man, but he said it himself. He says the first two fights that he had in the UFC, one of the biggest adjustments was he could not get his footing. Is that it was too slippery of a cage. He's used to fighting in the boots, right? We talked about it. People in the comments was like, oh, he's fought without shoes before, da-da-da. He said it himself multiple times, and he said it again in the post-fight conference this weekend. He was like, yeah, man, that was pretty much the biggest of my woes because, like I said, man, now he's starching fools. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, it was a little bit of a drop-off in competition in comparison to his first two fights. But nonetheless, I think that Manel Kape has top 10 aspirations and talent right now in the UFC. He says he's 2 fights away from a title fight. So let's just end right there, my man. You clearly think he should stay in that 13 to 15. He's going to stay within probably my 12 to 15 come Tuesday. But do you think that sentiment is true? Is he 2 fights away from a title?
2 fights? I think he's close to a title. I think he has the projection or the traction for a title fight, but 2 fights, I don't know about that. Maybe if he does, maybe, he gets a Kai Kara France and starches him, moves up next one to like a Pantoja or something, then, we might be seeing a Starboy for the title, but that's a hell of a killer's path to get through first.
It is, and absolutely. And that's just the weird thing to me, because I'm like, if you're truly 2 fights away from a title shot, which he came into the UFC as a rising champion, this was the whole game plan, is like, you're going to be a top contender type stuff, right? If he's 2 fights away, it's hard for me to believe that, you know, he is that 13th to 15th ranked fighter. You know what I'm saying? It makes me think that the UFC and others must believe he is higher than that. So that is our 60 seconds rankings review this week, folks. Let's see if the UFC will have Manel Kape crack their top 15. He's already in both of our respective top 15, so that's neither here nor there. I've had Manel Kape in there for a while, so have you. The question is, how big of a bump does he get? So we'll see come Tuesday. Check us out at Bloody Water Podcast for our own personalized rankings. You can find mine and AJ. Just hit the rankings tab, all that good stuff. And then, of course, UFC will compare the consensus on the upcoming rankings review, my man.